Yeah, so it is actually basically an environment that we are created to give you a sense of what the experience is like when you're using class. So let's say that I'm the instructor and I just stepped into the virtual classroom, right? So what is it that I find? So first of all, let me walk you through, let's say, the main layout. On the top left corner, there is myself. You see my video in Zoom and my video here and waving at you because I'm live into this. So you're not watching a pre-recorded video of this demo session. So we're using live the demo interface. So right below me, you see that we have the list of the learners. So the people that are in the room. So I haven't done anything, okay? But actually, the system is telling me who are the people enrolled in my course, and it's telling me if they're present. And if I scroll down in the end, I could see even basically the absent people, if there are absent people. So it's important for me because immediately I see, the people are enrolled, in the course, who's in, who's not in. But actually, then I show you later that there is a dashboard where I can actually track the attendance and export it. But immediately, I can see that, right? And the identity is verified. It's verified because I have uploaded either the students, there is a rostering system, or if we use it integrated with supported LMS systems like Cornerstone, like Blackboard, like Moodle. I mean, we take, basically the list of the students, synchronized in a single sign-on, type of model with the LMS system. So the identity, the digital identity is verified in this way. Now, if we keep moving, to the right on the screen, you see a gallery view, right? So this is actually class for teams, what you're watching now. Why you spot immediately it's class for teams? Because as in Teams, you see the media bar, right? Where you have all the buttons on top. If this was class for Zoom, so the different flavor, it would have the bar at the bottom. That's basically the key difference between the two things. Why we did that? To make it look more familiar to the instructors, because it's very difficult. You're going to find today somebody that has never used Zoom or Teams, right? So introducing new technologies, in particular for teaching and learning, could find resistance from let's say a good portion of instructors because they need to learn totally from scratch a new technology. But actually, because this is class for teams, because they know how to use Teams, they will find just a much more powerful Teams. They will find more functionalities built within a familiar environment. So I was saying that you see the gallery view, but the gallery view can be changed. So on the top right corner, you see sitting charts. If I click on sitting charts, you see the order you see the alphabetical order selected. I could have by last name, or I could actually rearrange by hand raised, because people can raise hands. So I can see immediately the chronological order of the people that raise hand, first, second, third, positions and everything. I could do even more. I could actually select participation. If I select participation, and by the way, this is something not, let's say, visible, to the learners, but as an instructor, I will see a color bar on the right side of each video. You see, it's either red, yellow, or green. This is going to give me, not in real time, but pretty much, okay, so very close to it, the algorithm of the system is telling me who are the people that are participating into this. It's measuring different factors, in particular how much they talk, okay, if they need to interact with me on a specific activity. So the one in yellow, I mean, in yellow is, it reflects the average of this classroom. And then you see the one in green, sorry, in green is above. So these people interact a lot. So maybe they click on emoji, they send feedback, they talk. But what is very important to make sure that you immediately spot, the people that are left behind, is the one in red. And then if you see that maybe they're just raising hands, so maybe you want to give priority to the ones you read, because it's a way to re-engage with that person, because that person maybe is not following you for some reasons, or is left behind. Or if he does question, is great, but the system is telling me that there is something that you should intervene. So this is still This is not AI assistant yet, okay? We're working in that direction, but this is something simply to spot the level of participations. Now, I can change that and put it back to, for example, general. Now, on the top part of the screen, you see that there are, the three, say all the instructors or instructor assistants. So that's kind of, the first row. And if I go to sitting chart here, I can decide if I'm in the front room, I want to put the assistants, or maybe I want to put some learners that are going to present. So if I select on somebody, I'm going to just put them to the presenter group, I will see that in the first row. Why is that important? That is important because, remember, we need to try to replicate as much as possible the level of interaction, the sense of community that you find in presence. Because in presence, this is great to drive engagement, right? So look at the top left corner. You see the class logo. The class logo is kind of selected now. You see, the color bar right below the logo. Now, if I go next to it, I have launched a piece of content. Now, when I launch a piece of content, the system is going to show content, to the room, but I still see the front of room over there. So I have kind of split this. Why this is important? Let's say that I have a group of people that need to present to the others, right? I want them to be always visible also with the video when they're doing something, they're talking, and the content itself that they're sharing. If I don't need them, then on the right corner, I could actually get rid of them and keep the old screen. But if I want to see them, I can do it. These people could actually work live on a shared document. And this is going to give a much better visibility to the rest of the room, of the people in the room. Now, you're asking probably, how can I see the rest of the room? Well, you just click back on the class, okay? So you see that, but you can do actually something more. We had the requirement, for example, from a corporate client, say, look, it's a requirement for our training regulation to have visibility of the video of the people, at least, up to 20 people in the same room, and then show the content. So we have added a little functionalities, to pop out the gallery, okay? And you pop out the gallery, so you can actually move even this around, and you can see all of them, and you can share that. So you can keep all screen, but at the same time, you can comply if there are specific regulations, for the video and the visibility on that. Now, I'm going to just put this back, and that's where we are. Now, if we keep going, I just want to give you a general overview. Let's say that on the top part, then as I mentioned, we have basically all the buttons with all the functionalities. The one selected now is people, right? So that's why if I select people, I see this bar right below where I'm sitting, which is the podium. I could actually go, let's explore together, the rest. Probably the most important one, especially from teacher's perspective and instructor perspective, is the learning tools. Clicking the learning tools. Now, just one click away, I see right below me, three main areas: content, activities, and learning tools. So remember, what is it, that kills a lot the communication collaboration, especially when you're using Teams, is that, or Zoom, is that it's very common that instructors, to show content, they're going to start sharing their screen. That's probably the most widely used, functionality there. But if you start sharing your screen, you kill any communication collaboration, and then you don't see actually the rest of the classroom. And if you want to stop, then you need to go back, start the sharing and things. So you're wasting time. Here, everything is designed in order for the instructors not having to share their own screen. So basically, if they want to share the screen, they can still do it, okay? There is a functionality here, and you can do the screen sharing, and you can decide how to do it. But it's not necessary to do it. So here, you could have, for example, let's look at the content, right below here, you have a syllabus. So here, you could actually pre-populate this with content. And then the content is there. And, once you select it, you can pre-populate that obviously before, anytime, before the session starts. When you launch it, this is gonna open a new tab, basically. And the students, the learners can actually go there and see the content that is being shared. And you could actually even click here on the follow me. So if I click on the follow me, basically, they will see exactly what, because if you share something like a PDF, for example, they could scroll, right? But if you click on the follow me, basically they will see exactly what you want them to see. And the fact that you're actually opening tabs, you see on the top left corner, right below myself over here, you see that I can actually navigate, right, through tabs. Now, if I want the learner just to stay one tab, I simply close it. So nobody can actually move from this, can look at the content and this, or I can leave it open, the way I prefer. But what is important is that, let's say that I'm talking about this, right? Then I want to ask questions. Well, it's important that I just leave this here, and then I click on the tab, okay, with the logo, and I can see, I can ask questions. Yeah, the student, you want to ask any questions specifically, or I want to ask them questions, or I want to launch, you see below here, learning tools, a polling question, right? I may have prepared that before. I can prepare them on the fly, and then I can actually share that, with the classroom, and then we'll have a pop-up window. They will receive, obviously, this is simulation, but every learner there will see a pop-up window so they can actually answer something. And then I will see here, sharing with, with everybody, I can see here the results populating live, okay? And this is not disrupting anything, because this is good to understand if they're following you, if you want to run checks during the models. There are different, let's say, teaching and learning models to do it, but it's not, up to us to impose anything. It's just to give the chance to actually have functionalities that can help you, basically delivering the training in the model that you prefer. So you can do that. So you go that, and then you can simply go back to the piece of content that you were sharing with them, right? And you can keep on going ahead and discussing this, and then you can go back to the student. So it's like a seamless flow of actions. When you are on site in a physical classroom, that's what you do. You explain something, somebody may ask questions, right? And then you go back to the digital or physical content. We have one of our clients in Lufthansa Technical Training. The first time that they came to us, they were using Teams, by the way. They came to us, I thought, okay, maybe it's for the training of the hostess, or something like a simple training. Like, no. We need for technical training, the people that put their hands on the engines, and we need to train them in the different airports and things. So now they're using class to do that. So these type of functionalities can allow actually to deliver training in many different formats. You see here, actually, that in the middle, I could actually pin in the middle of the screen this camera, right? So this camera is actually pointed, it could be pointed in a room where I want to share or something that I'm doing physically in a room, right? And I want to share it with everybody. I could simply use my phone. It's easy to link it to this room and then broadcast it live. If I see it, then I can put it right in the center, or I can unpin it, I can remove it, I can do lots of things. But what I'm saying is, it's very easy to replicate a lot of these actions, actually, and I can navigate through the tab navigation from whatever I want to launch or share with the rest of the students. Now, I could have files, and files here, if I click on files, I could have here, for example, an internal repository system just for my course, and I could actually, select something that I want to share, with the rest of the learners. And you see here in resources and actions, right? So when it says this, I put this tick in resources. This means that if the learner goes back to the room, in particular, when there is no activity, right? So he cannot interact with the others, but he can still find the resources that I can make available here. And he could, for example, open it or download it. Okay. If I go here to new files, I could browse on my system, right? I can just click on browsing and then upload it. Or I could have an integration with the Google Drive, Office 365, Cornerstone, as you can see, other URL systems. And that will make it extremely easy, to have the files ready. And then when I select the file, I simply launch it. Launch it always means opening a new tab and launching whatever content, I want to share with the rest of the students. So still looking at the learning tools, we have activities. I could launch presentations. I could convert into a presentation mode something. So I've just created one right before. And yeah, I could actually here, choose a file, select, one of the file on my system or something. I could upload it, and then it will appear here on the presentations, and I could actually launch it. When I launch it, this is going to open again a new tab. So it's something that is going to be extremely easy then to actually interact, with your students. And you can go through whatever you have uploaded live. And by the way, let's say that you're delivering these sessions, right? And the session is expected to last for, I don't know, 2 hours. But you haven't finished, but you want to continue. And you want to continue exactly from where you left. One new functionality that we're about to release is actually sessions persistence. So basically, next time that there is a new session schedule, I open this with the same students, it will reopen also all the same tabs ready. So I could continue from where I left actually on the previous sessions. It's something that is about to be released in just a few weeks. I just wanted to let you know. Anyway, so I can flip through this, okay? And here you see, quick polls, you have whiteboards. I can create whiteboards and then share it, and then create a library of whiteboards. It's very advanced. I could actually do something like also assignments or assessments. Let's say that, especially for day-to-day operations, you've delivered in a training, and what's happening today is that if you're using Teams or whatever video conferencing tools, you can just basically share content, explain, articulate, whatever you want. But then if you want to make sure that they have understood, right? Probably at the end of the module or the session, you're going to ask them to take a quiz, right? But the quiz needs to be taken offline. You cannot take that online with everybody because nobody can share that. I mean, there is no way for you to control who's taking the quiz, the way they're doing it, if they're cheating or not, is normally done after actually that. So there is no way for you to do it in a different way, with Instructor Live and things. Let's say here, you can prepare your assessments, or you can import, create, you can have an internal database of questions. Let's say that, you have create one, you launch it. And once you launch it, basically, you see that it opens a new tab, and I click on preview quiz, okay? Now, when I click on the class logo, everybody can see this tab. And even when I share content, okay, everybody can see these tabs. But when I launch an assessment, every student, basically, every learner in the room will only be able to see their own form. They cannot see the form of everybody. So this is kind of an individual tab. So I can only see mine, okay? So this is obviously you see that because I'm sharing my screen now, okay? But I could, give the answer, whatever it is. Okay, I'm just guessing here, I'm not doing anything real, whatever I want to do. And each learner can take the quiz, right? But then the problem is, how can the instructor actually control that? Now, we go to the bar, you see that you click on proctoring, we can select all the students if you want all of them to take the quiz, and then start. When I start, every student will get a little pop-up window say, share the view of your screen. So not access, there is no way. We're fully compliant with European GDPR, data storage policy. There is no way the instructor or class can get into the computer of students using class. This is just the visibility. Now, look at this. Now you see 3 students, right? And next to them, you see basically their own desktop. The first one is a video, live video, when you see the face. But the other one is like basically taking pictures very fast, a lot. That looks like a video, but it's not, because it's only the view, because it's not transmitted. It's not 2 video sources that we see, okay? But that's good, because first of all, you have visibility of whatever they have on the screen, right? And I can flip through the students, whatever they have. I can actually see this Wei, for example, the first one on the top, and then I can click here and see bigger what he has on the screen. If I see that he has on the screen only class or the class form, that's fine. But if somebody is using something that is not supposed to do, I remember there was somebody cheating here. Like, for example, I mean, I would be, yeah, here, for example, look at this one, the second one. The second one has opened a different tab actually on the screen. It's opening a different application. So maybe he's trying to find the answer to something, but he's not supposed to do it, right? So proctoring is something for you to have kind of surveillance type of system that you can do online, similar to what you would do on site. If you're in a room and you give them a form, basically you're just watching. Nobody's going to just use their phone to look for the answer to things, because you're going to tell them no, this is not allowed. Here is a way that can allow you actually to also look at that and make sure that the quiz is valid and is seriously taken. Now, if somebody's doing something that is not supposed to do, then you can click here and you can chat directly with that student, so you can even remove it. Okay, so you can intervene that into the sessions, but you can do that directly with the student. You don't have to do it in front of everybody. So you can actually inform exactly that specific student. If you go to view, you can have even more people views, in the same screen. Actually, with a Proctor view, you can reach up to 9. Okay, so you can monitor up to 9 people doing that, or you can go, through the different pages and you can do all this. Now, when this is done, then you just go to the Proctor, and when everybody actually, if people go and submit the assessment, sorry, in the end, they submit the assessment. Okay, then basically you can close the Proctor view, and then you don't see the Proctor view anymore. You can just go back to the main room, for example. Obviously, the Proctor view, it's only for the instructors, to see everybody. So this is designed eventually to run also this type of activities online. And you see that right below here on Learning Tools, you have class management. If I click on class management, I could go to actually gradebook. So I don't know if you use it, but let's say that you want to keep track of the grading of the different quizzes, right? That you run online because you did training and you want to see if they passed the training or not. That happens in many organizations. They kind of say, okay, it passed the training, right? So here you can actually configure a kind of gradebook where you see all the results for all the training for each individual student. Or if you're using class integrated with a support LMS system, and you use that gradebook over there, we can actually have the two system talking automatically, and you can see the results on the other side as well. Over here in class management, you can click, for example, on attendance, and you can see the attendance automatically taken. So this means, for example, that for today's session, you see the list of the people present. You see also if they're late. You see the time in and time out. And you can even, you have the full report. You see also the absent people and everything. And then you can also download it. Okay, so you can export it as well. But actually what is interesting is also that we have a dashboard. If you click on the dashboard, you select a session. You have also cross sessions over here. And basically you can see data about the level of interactions or the activities that is happening or has happened in a specific session. Normally you do this at the end of the session. So you can see how much they have been talking, the learners, the instructors. But if you click on view user details, you can see on a granular level the list of the students. You can see the role, you can see the talk time, you can see the focus time, hand raised, the level of feedback. You can see a lot of more information. Focus time is interesting because let's say that the session lasted for 1.5 hours, right? And then you see that the focus time is only 12 minutes or 42 minutes. What does that mean? That means that if the person, has opened the session, got into the session, and then at some point prefer to read the newspaper or do something else, is clicking outside class. If he clicks outside class for that specific attendees, the time is going to stop counting. When he clicks back, then it's going to restart counting. And he goes out, he stops. So in the end, I know exactly. If somebody, for example, in the end is complaining that the training was not good enough, and then you check the attendance and you check the focus time, and you see that this person has not been focusing on this, you have an evidence that that person is not being actually looking at the screen, but looking at something else. Not because we track the eyes, but we track where he clicks. So if he clicks outside class, it simply is going to stop taking this. I don't know. It's a functionality. Remember, that we basically, I say that, to be clear, we give functionalities, and then you decide what to use or not. At system administrator level, you could decide, especially at the beginning, you may say, well, that's a lot of functionality, or I need to see how people take this or the others, if a structure like it, whatever. So you can decide to switch on and off, the individual functionalities. That is, the key functionalities, you have a full list, and then you, from the system administrator panel, you can definitely switch them off or switch everything on. But the important thing is that it's in there. Okay. Now let's keep going. I wanted to show you, I don't want to go over time here with your time. I just want to show you breakout rooms, which is something that, one of the things that I think I've already showed you some of the things that make a difference when you're just using Teams or you're not using Teams. But breakout rooms is extremely important because breakout room is widely used actually in training, for co-working, for a number of reasons. Let's say that you have all those all those learners, then you can decide automatically or manually to divide them into different groups, okay? Automatically, manually, you can manage a template. Or if you have this integrated again with an LMS system where you have already created groups, you can integrate the groups in class. So when you create and open rooms, let's say that you have a number of people. I don't know how big could be your training, but I'm pretty sure that you may have small training, but you also may have sessions that could have a lot of attendees, right? So if you see next to the class level in the main room, I can click on all breakout rooms. Now, what's happening over here is this. I can see, let's say I'm the instructor, right? So I can see from that dashboard the different rooms that I have created. And I can see the people that are in it, in each one of them. I can see the content that they're sharing. And I can see even this transcript of what is being said live from outside. So I can decide if I need to step into a room or another one, I can move around. But those people are like into a sub room on their own, right? I have their own functionalities, I can manage that. But let's say that I decide, I go to the learning tools over here, and I decide, for example, that I want to launch a video. I can launch a video over here. I have a session of videos, and I can select the video. When I click on launch, the system is going to ask me, do you want to launch to everybody or to a specific room? Say, oh, maybe I want to launch it only to the group in room 2 or in room 5. So I can actually send material. I can do different type of activities, depending on how you want to run that. One group could be doing an assessment on something. Another group could be doing co-working on a specific project or whatever, is the plan that you wanna do here. But basically, the dashboard allows even one single instructor to control multiple groups in a very efficient way. Once this is done, you can actually go and you could broadcast a message to everybody, something like say, hey, 5 minutes, we're done or whatever. Or you can close the room yourself, and then when you close the room, basically everybody will be taken back into the main room. So you will find all the students or the learners over here.